record on this computer. So just hit the OK button. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And so again, this is to be an interactive event. So please asking me any questions. So out of the three of you, how many of you have your own website that you actually work on yourself? You can either say, I do, I'll unmute yourself, or put a one in the chat that you have your own website. Coming in 2 weeks. Fantastic, Marty. What about Miko and Miko, you have your own website? Okay. Now, for those of you that have the websites, but I guess between Marty and Miko, are they WordPress websites? Are they another drag and drop site, like say GoDaddy or ShareSpace, or whatever this one's called? Okay, so I can't get rid of that one screen. Okay, so just come over. And I know I'm a web designer, and I've a code in mind, but I also work with WordPress. Okay, so Amika, whenever I'm covering something on here, if I say anything wrong, let me know, because you may have more expertise at some of this stuff than I do. If you're a website designer, because I want to make sure that everybody on here gets the correct information. Okay, so Shidra said, thank you. So most of the stuff that I'm going to be showing to you guys is going to be WordPress related, because I'm going to go into the back end of WordPress for a little bit of this stuff. But for those of you who are not doing a WordPress site, you should be able to do something very similar. You may have to watch a YouTube video or ask Google how to do some of this stuff. So let's go ahead and first of all, let's talk about what is SEO. So I'm going to take some notes for you guys. Normally when I do these events, I would take notes, and then I will put it in the chat at the very end. And then this will also be part of the notes that are going to be attached to the actual classroom training. So you guys don't see my screen at the moment, so I can put that over here. Oops, we got another person coming in. So what SEO basically means, it stands for search engine optimization. I'm just taking notes real quick. And essentially, what search engine optimization means, it's going to be how the internet finds you. So the search engine optimization is essentially it's going to be how organically people are going to be finding your website. Now, if you are running a business, and I would strongly and highly suggest that you do have some type of website going on. Now, and what this basically means is that I would assume that most people on this call uses Google or maybe Bing as their number one way to that they do their online searches. Now, what happened in the past, back when the internet was still young, one of the most important things was that you want to make sure that your website is actually keyword rich. And I'm actually going to share my screen, because I do want to show y'all some stuff as I'm doing this. So let me go back to sharing my screen again. And welcome to, Corey to the call. And Corey, please, this is an interactive call, so you can, and I would ask you to unmute yourself and ask me any questions whenever you have any questions. So let me go ahead and hide these floating things. And I'm going to go back here. Okay, so there we go. So back when I lived in Las Vegas, and this is back when I actually knew Marty, I think a little bit better, because we haven't really talked that much in the last few years. But one of the things that I was known for in Las Vegas is I had a business where I did a lot of lease option real estate. And basically what that meant was whenever I was doing a property or actually working with owners, I would actually market the home. I would shoot video of the homes. I would do all of that, and then I would go ahead and market those homes to find myself a tenant buyer. Now, after I did that for several years, I found another gentleman that did the exact same thing that I did. And we ended up sitting down, having a couple of beers, and we were talking about, because we were direct competitors. But then we both realized after probably like a half hour of communication was that I can market his homes, he can market my homes, and therefore now I had a lot more homes that I was able to market. Now, each home that I had, I was actually shooting video of the homes. And at that time, I know up there in the top screen, but back in 2009, I started shooting videos of the homes. Does anybody know what this thing is? I'll push a little button on the side as well. Do you all remember these? So see, Miko's is smiling. I'm assuming she knows what this thing is.
It looks like a camera, like a
What was
USB
that?
camera, a USB camera.
It was a flip camcorder. So this can record up to 1 hour of video, and then you flip this out, and that's a USB port that will plug into your computer. So I started shooting video with this device. I shot hundreds of videos with this device. And essentially what I did was, whenever I got the video, I would put it on YouTube, and then I would use keywords like lease option Las Vegas in the video with the backlink going to the advertising page for that house. And after about 2 or 3 years, if you were on Google, if you typed in lease option Las Vegas, I was on page 1 of Google at least 4, if not 5 times. And this is what you're going to be wanting to do. You want to find keywords that are ideal for your business and make sure that your website is known for those keywords. This will mean like mainly on your homepage or any of your other pages. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Miko, but if your website is dynamic, which means that the content is constantly being updated, that's going to be good for the Google spiders. The way that how the internet categorizes you it's going to be a lot better for you. If you just built a website and then didn't do anything with it for 5 years, let's say it's a 6-page website, and you did nothing with it for 5 years, so it's like maybe change the copyright date, that's going to become a very stale website. So you definitely want to make sure that whenever you're building a website, that it has to be also dynamic. So for those of you that have a WordPress website, one of the things that I suggest that you do, and this is going to be mainly for SEO purposes, is to make sure that you probably want to start creating blogs or other kind of written content.
Yeah.
Yes,
can I just want to, in support of what you're saying, if you think about the search engines, they can't watch videos and they can't view images. So they're going off of all the text that you're, they're indexing all the text that you have there. And then the other thing that they're also tracking though is user engagement. So if you have, like you mentioned, video, do you think that maybe your videos also had a lot to do with keeping people engaged and coming back to your page or staying longer on your page? And so that worked with the search engine optimization because you're appealing to the user's interest.
Yes. So like what Mika was saying, I had a backlink coming from YouTube going to my website, and then I had the video also embedded onto the flyer page on the website as well. So therefore, so that flyer page, had keyword rich content in it as well. So like when I did the Google search back in 2010, 2011, 12, like all the way through 2018. And when I appeared on the Google on page 1 5 times, 2 of those were YouTube videos. So that is to me one of the important things is as you're building your website, you want it to be dynamic, and then you want to have a lot of good backlinks that's also keyword rich for your industry. So whatever your industry is, you need to start looking at different kinds of keywords. Now, there used to be now I'm going to assume that most people out there use Chrome, like I do. And if you use Chrome or even Bing, you can get these things called extensions that are up here on the top. Now, some extensions that I would strongly suggest that you have are going to be, number one, it's going to be the Grammarly one. This will the Grammarly one is actually going to be like when you using Microsoft Word and you misspell something, or you use the wrong tense or the wrong whatever, it's going to give you suggestions. Grammarly is the exact same thing, but it's for when you're on the web, when you're on the internet. Grammarly is going to be very, very critical for you. Now, another one, if you're building your website, that I'm going to suggest you have is this one here. It's called a color pick eyedropper. The color pick eyedropper is going to tell you what is the hexadecimal code for whatever color that you want to be that you want to be part of your website. Now, one thing I'm going to strongly suggest is that everybody has at least one, if not two, default colors. Okay, it's like if you think of Starbucks, you think green and white. If you think of McDonald's, you think of a yellow and red. So those are the colors for those businesses. You, just like any other businesses, needs to know what your colors are. Now, whenever you're looking at color, and this is actually, I'm going off topic here, but whenever you're looking at color, I'm sure everybody's heard of something known as binary, zeros and ones. There's two values to it. The decimal system, the 0 through 9 that we use is decimal, which means 10. That's a 10-digit number. In color, you actually have what's called a hexadecimal. That's going to be a 16. There's 16 values in there. They are normally 0 through 9 and A through F. So when you're looking at your hexadecimals, this color pick eyedropper will help you determine what those colors are. Like, for an example, if you say, I want to have a red color, well, which branch of red? Is it bright red, deep red, light red? And what kind of red is that? Just like, for an example, like you can see this little 6 up here is red, and that where this one up here says emoji, that's a different shade of red. So essentially, I can go ahead and pick on this. Let me go back to my home page as an example. Or actually, let's say you like this color, this gold color, which is one of my 2 default colors. I can click on this thing here, and once I cover over the gold, you'll see that my number is BBAD55. Okay, I always call it badass because that's one of my colors. The other one of my colors is close to what that color is, the purple color. So whenever you are designing your colors, go ahead and pick those out, because those are the colors that's going to be on your website, and hit the escape button. Those are the colors that are going to be on your website, as well as your business cards, as your flyers, and everything else. So that's part of this. Doesn't affect your SEO, but it affects your consistency. Now, whenever you're looking at keywords, there is another extension up here. It used to be free, but I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months ago, it became now a paid extension. It was called Keywords Everywhere. So that is one of the ones that you definitely want to make sure you have as an extension, if you're willing to pay for it. And I'll show you, if you don't know how to do this, I'll show you how to get to those to the extensions. You go up here in the top right-hand corner where the 3 dots are located, click on it, and it's right there. It says extensions. It used to be under more tools, but they moved it probably about 4 or 5 months ago to this new location. So you can manage extensions or visit the Chrome store. So let's go and visit the Chrome store since I don't have it. And search in the store. Everywhere. There it is. And then you can purchase it. Now a lot of them are actually going to be free. Again, this is a paid version, and what this would do would be whenever you went and did a Google search. And since I don't have it, it's not going to show up. But whenever I did a Google search, let's say florist. what it would do is over here on the right-hand side, it would give you 4 different values. One was going to be short tail keywords, one was long tail keywords, and other phrases, as well as how popular is that. It would show over here on the white part of your screen. It was actually very, very useful, but like I said, they just started charging for it. If you're looking at the icon, it's going to be a black icon with a red K. So if you do download it, there you go. And the last thing I probably would suggest that you have is this one as well. It's called Check My Links. And what that one does is I'm going to write that one down. What that does is going to actually go in and search your links on your website to see if you have any bad or broken links. Now, when you have a bad link or a broken link, that's going to actually hurt your SEO. Because again, the spiders are going to look at your website as not being a credible website. So for an example, I don't want to do mine. Actually, I'll go ahead and do mine because I'll sign out of WordPress. I can sign in later. Because if I don't sign out, it's going to give me a lot of bad errors. So I'm going to go to my website and I'll go back to the home page. It really shouldn't matter. And then I will go up here and click on this. So I have not done this in a few months, so I may have some issues. Hopefully I don't. And I was going to be checking which are my valid links and my redirecting links. And I use a lot of redirects. That's for another class. But right there, it says I got 125 valid links. I have no invalid or no warnings. So I'm doing good right now. So if you're building your WordPress or any other drag and drop, this link here will be extremely good to you to make sure that you don't have a bad link. Now, a few months ago, under my training, under the curriculum, I had all of my courses under a different path. And so I ended up removing the curriculum path and put them all under courses, and that ended up creating quite a few bad links. Going to my website. So any inbound links coming from other websites had to be updated. So the thing is, you definitely want to make sure that you had I do this or I work on this as much as you can, and then go back and check it every couple of months to make sure that everything is behaving properly. Now, another place that you could go to go and check your for keywords is this one that's called Ahrefs. Actually, Ahrefs. Sorry, I misspelled it. So this is one of the sites that you can go to start looking at your for an SEO toolkit. So I'll put this in the notes. And this is for your SEO and keywords. And I believe I may have one of these open already. Let me make sure. So I did a search on this a little bit earlier. Okay. I believe they may have a free version as well. So this is where you can start looking at your analytics for the keywords that you want to be known for. Now, obviously, you can always just go into a Google search bar and put in, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And see, and then start to see, what other businesses or other companies that are going to be possibly competing with you. What's that? The next thing is also whenever you are looking at here is an example between a short tail and a long tail keywords. That's another one that you need to know about. One is called long tail and short tail. A long tail or short tail keyword would be something like dog. If I just type in dog, it's going to give me all kinds of different results. So that would be a short tail keyword. Another one that's a long tail keyword will be something like terrier, puppies, Las Vegas, for sale. That's a long tail keyword. So it's going to be a lot more specific. So so therefore, whenever you're coming up with your keywords that you're going to be using, you definitely want to keep both these in mind. Now, this generative AI could actually be helpful for you as well. I've not tested too much with that at the moment, but if I were to look at these things in Las Vegas, these are going to be different areas that you can go. And okay. Now, another thing that whenever you're looking at SEO, the next thing you want to look at is also your URLs. These need to be keyword specific as well for some of your content. Now, whenever you are writing a blog, one of the best things that you can do, especially if it's going to be on WordPress, is to have part of the keyword that you want to be known for. Yes, leash for husky dogs. Yes, that's a good one. Is to actually have that as part of your keyword as well. Excuse me, the keyword is part of your blog as well. So I'm going to go ahead and log back into WordPress. For those of you that do not know WordPress all that well, we're just going to look at a few things, and I don't want you to be too overwhelmed. I've got a lot of plugins that I use. So I have a lot of stuff over here on the left-hand side and a lot of stuff up here on top. If you're just getting started with WordPress, you'll probably only be down to there where it says templates in a very basic site, and only one or two items up here up top. One thing to distinguish between in WordPress is between the post and a page. A page is going to be a page on your website, while a post is going to be a blog post. So I'm going to go ahead and go to one of my posts. So this is the one that I just created. It's called Exploring the Creative Power of Generative AI. We talk about more about that on the 7th of November. Empowering entrepreneurs by creating online courses. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this blog post. Now I'm going to go through the classic editor so I can show you some things. So you can see right there, that is the name of the course. You also see that the URL, if I would go ahead and hit the edit, you'll see the URL is pretty close to the same as that as well. So I'm trying to get known for that keyword. If I were to slide down a little bit, that is the actual blog right there. And if I go below the blog, down into these other settings. Now, there is a plugin. If you can use WordPress, there's a plugin that I'm going to strongly suggest that you use. It's called a Yoast SEO. There's a free version as well as a paid version on Yoast. Yoast SEO basically just goes into, it's like, is your post, is it keyword rich? Is it SEO rich for not only SEO reasons, but also readability? You'll see these two different tabs here, inclusive language and schema, and then you also have social. Now, social part of Yoast SEO only talks to Twitter. It used to be talking to Facebook, but now that has become a paid feature, I think that's been going like that maybe 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, this is a brand new thing where they took that off from the free version. But let's go ahead and go back to SEO. Now, with Yoast SEO, you can get one of 3 different colors with these little emojis that are right there. If you've got it green, that means you're doing well. If it's yellow, that means you're okay, and if it's red, that means you're that it's poor. So Yoast SEO is very powerful in making sure that you have that. And I'll go to another blog that is not all greens in a moment. Whenever you are starting this here, the focus keyword is the very first thing that you're going to be looking at. So I'm using the words online course. And that means, going by the link to my blog, how many times does the word online course appear in the blog? And it will tell you if you used it too much or too little. Also, if I scroll down even further, you will have this thing here. This is called the title. So this is somebody were to find this on a Google search, this is what they're going to be seeing on that Google search. The title here, actually, I don't need all of this stuff. I'm going to take that one out. And it's just going to show you the title, which is the one which is what I have up there. is what I have up there. But I can put other stuff on there if I wanted the title to be something different. For an example, just as an example, I'm going to put down -5. So you will see -5 just appeared up here. So this is, if depending on how long your title is, I could also say by Kevin A. Mr. Monet, Kevin A. Dunlap. Now it just became red, so then it's saying that is too long. You should not be doing that. But as you can see, you can change how it appears on a Google search. I'm going to take that out. And then there's this other thing known as the slug. The slug is going to be another, how your course is going to be identified, or your blog or post or pages, how is it going to be identified? And it cannot have any spaces in there. So normally it's going to be like creating your online course. That's also, you will see whenever you do this, again, I'm using online course, that's for SEO purposes. So the slug is going to have also the keyword in it as well. You will also see that inside here, I got the word in the description, the short description, again, I have the word online course. So again, I'm using that keyword for this particular blog. And so if you scroll up, you see creating your online course. If I were to scroll up, back up here to the top, that is going to be the same thing right there. That will automatically be updated as you update your slug. If you update this one, it's going to update your slug as well. So these two are going to be tied together. Now, another thing that I do, as we're talking about blogs, another thing that I do, and again, this is for SEO purposes only, is that I will usually go in and copy this meta description, hit Control-C, and then if I'm going to be sharing this on social media or at least have it set up, I'll go over here where it says social and scroll back down, and then you will see that this is the exact same thing right there. So the Twitter social meta description is that, or it's called X now. You will see the social title. That is exactly the same thing from all the way up here. So that's just copy paste it down. And then you want to share the image. Now the image that I create for this, for the Twitter, is going to be the same image that I'm going to be using for the online course. So if I were to go to our website, again, go to our blog part of our website. So this is the blog part of our website. I'm showing, I think, the first 25 words. So you will see there that is the image. That is the image for the blog as it appears on my website right now. So let's go ahead and work with the image. Let's go look at the image. So for me to look at, I need to remove the image, and then I'm going to replace it. So right now it's a featured image. It's going to say a set featured image. So I'm going to go and get that image. That's going to be the one with the computer that had the online course on there, and I believe I've used it before somewhere else. So it's in my media stuff somewhere else. So that is going to be the image that I'm using. Now, whenever you're in WordPress, and hopefully with some of these other sites that you guys might be using, you also have this thing that's here. It's going to be what's called the alt text. Now, the alt text is going to be how does a blind person see that image? So that's going to be like on mine. This is a laptop with an open lid with a screen showing "Join us online." Now, below for the description, I'm trying to make sure that I'm using on the image that as part of the description, I'm putting the keyword in the image as well. So again, this is all for SEO purposes. Now, to help your website load faster, normally what I would do is I'll go to the compression level, and with images like this, I always choose high. That's just going to make the file size smaller so that page can load quicker, which again affects your SEO, because one of the aspects on your SEO is how quickly does your page load. Now, in the chat, let me ask you all this. What would you say is the average time for a person that they will wait for a website to load before they hit the backspace button or go somewhere else? What do you think that is? So if anything in the chat, or you can mention out loud. 3 to 5 seconds. That is absolutely correct. So if you've got a lot of big images and a lot of videos on your website, then those may not, those will cause your website to slow down, and even the spiders are going to notice that as well, and therefore your website is going to be giving a much lower ranking. Now, whenever you are now, as you can see, oops, I didn't save the image. So set feature imaged, and now that image is back. And then whenever you're working on the right-hand side, you want to make sure that you're getting tags as well as your categories that you want for your site. So I'm going to go ahead and hit update, even though I didn't change anything. And you'll see that whenever you save something in WordPress, that it will automatically go back to the top of the page once it's just been saved. So let me go ahead and go to posts. I'm going to try to find one that does not have 2 greens. Here's one with a yellow. So let's go ahead and look at this one. Let's go ahead and look at this particular one. So once it loads, you'll see on the right-hand side, there's a yellow next to SEO. It says that it's okay, readability is good, as well as inclusive language. Now, one of the things whenever you're writing the blog post is that the SEO is for how computers read your blog, and the readability is how a human reads your blog. So they are not the same thing. So let's go and go on down to Yoast SEO again. There's the post, and I've got SEO tab open there. I'm going to go below everything, and then you will see where it says here's the yellow SEO. This is going to tell me what all the issues that I have, as well as all the things that were good about this particular post. So if I go down here, it will say, like, for example, internal links. There's no internal links that appear on this page. So whenever you're writing a blog and this is mainly for SEO purposes, you're going to want to make sure you have a link that goes to somewhere else on your website that's known as a cross link, as well as at least one link going out to another credible website. So you want to make sure that so when the Google spiders come out and read your post, they want to make sure that that is actually going to be relevant. So I don't even know which post this one is. So for me to go from yellow to green, I need to actually have a link to my website somewhere. So this is a post called Mastering Time Management for the New Entrepreneurs. I did just create a course called that. So let me go ahead and fill that in. Today we're going to do time management strategies that can. We also have a course on time management you may want to check out. So I'm going to go to my courses and find out and get that link, and hopefully that will make me green. So so curriculum, all class courses. And get Control F for time. There it is. This is my learn more. So copy link address, go back to my post. I'm going to highlight to check out. I'm going to hit this link button. I'm going to hit the gear button. And then I'm going to hit Control V for paste. And I'm also going to have click on this little box that says open link in a new window or a new tab. Add the link. I'm going to hit the update. As you can see now, it is green. So I just fixed the issue by adding that one sentence in. So this now is going to help me rank better on as far as the SEO is concerned. So now it's been updated. So now we're done with that blog. Are there any questions so far from what we've covered so far? You can either say something in the chat, say I've got one, and then write the question, or you can just unmute yourself. I'll put it to say that you don't have any questions. I mean, I know Miko doesn't have it because she would have said something.
No questions for me.
Okay. Well, hopefully this was a decent content so far. Now,
Yes,
now one of the things about social media is if you go to, let's say, if you go to, say, LinkedIn as an example, if I go in here and and I start writing I start to write a post, and I post it, that's going to help me none as far as SEO is concerned. Okay, the reason being is because that's a constantly dynamic change. Now, one of the things that you can do is the more backlinks that you have coming to your website, the better it's going to be. And there's different ways that you can do backlinks. A YouTube video will be one way. And by the way, when you're doing YouTube videos, they cannot be a YouTube short. As of September 1st of 2023, YouTube Shorts disabled all links, all backlinks. So if you've got a regular YouTube video, which usually means it's more than a minute, then you can have those backlinks come to your website. If you are a blogger, one of the things that you can do, and I am a blogger, one of the things that I can do is I go and get my blog and I post it on LinkedIn, but not as a post. I post it on here as I'm going to go on my page here. I post it into my newsletter. So I create a newsletter, which now is a locked position on LinkedIn. So one of my 3 defaults on LinkedIn, I've got the schedule a 60-minute strategy session, which is like the 2 discovery sessions. This is for the meetup group, and then this is my newsletter. So I will go in there and actually copy and paste. And let me go to my blog again. And the last article that I wrote is called "Exploring the Creative Power of Generative AI." And by the way, I created that image, so I'm learning how to do images like this. And that's going to be part of the November 7th course, is how to do things like that. So essentially, I just had a robot working on a laptop that's in outer space. So this is. But anyway, you'll see this blog is exploring the creative power of generative AI in today's rapidly evolving technological landscape. Blah blah blah. Whatever they want to say. If I go to my post here, and this is the LinkedIn newsletter post, you'll see it's exactly the same thing. It's copy pasted over. Now, whenever I'm on my blog and I have a internal link, a cross link to somewhere else on my websites, I don't know how well you can see this, but if I were to cover up over here in the lower left-hand corner in the gray space, you will see that does go to my website. If you, it may be too small. If you don't see it, then just trust me that it does. And then I have other links going to other websites. So that cross link on my blog site is now an inbound link from LinkedIn. So that's now coming to my website from LinkedIn. So this is going to, again, help you with your SEO. If you're a blogger, I would strongly suggest that not only do you blog, but once you're done with your blog, then you got the green, the double green Yoast SEO. If you're using WordPress, that you'd also copy that blog into your post. Now, even my images, even when I'm saving my images on my computer, like I'm going to go and bring it over. Here is the image that I used, and that was just called generative AI. So I'm even trying to make the name of the image also SEO specific to that particular blog. So these are all critical tools that you're going to be needing whenever you're doing your SEO stuff. Now, again, if you're using Yoast SEO, it will even tell you that you need to rename your file, your image name in WordPress if you're trying to get it optimized. So so when I was telling you guys earlier about having the 4 or 5 page 1 on Google searches for least optimal Las Vegas when I first started this training, that is how I did it. It's just constantly getting content out there. If you're going to be a YouTuber, again, you want to make sure that you have rich content in your description, as well as making sure you got the backlinks coming to your website. Now, at the time of this recording, yes, Google cannot search a video for words said, but I'll almost guarantee you that probably within 5 years they will be able to do that. It's just It's just where technology is. So it's not that, to my understanding, you cannot search a YouTube video for content. I do know YouTube can search your video for music, copyrighted music, but they cannot do the content yet. And that's the reason I'm saying what I'm saying, is if they can search for the music anywhere in your video, that content is not too far away. Plus, YouTube can start doing your transcriptions these days as well. So
Yeah,
we're not
that's what
too
I was
far
going to
away.
ask. I was going to ask about transcriptions. That helps, doesn't it?
Yes, and when I had a podcast in 2018 on another website, I had because my podcast was video like this, it was also audio, and some of them I also had a transcript. So on my website, I had the embedded video, had the embedded audio, like the iTunes or whatever, and then I had a transcript. Or actually, I gave a description, and then below that it would be a transcript. So again, that's just more content that you can be searched for. And here's the beauty of it all. I don't know if this still happens right now, but let me go ahead and just test this. So Life's Little Lessons was the name of my podcast in 2017 and 18. It was 59 episodes where I interviewed 59 different people. If I would go to Life's Little Lessons, let me go to images. Because I've taken it down, it's probably not going to work. I can type in Life's Little Lessons, and my guests would appear as part of your Google Images. Or I can go in there and I would type in under images Corey Hutchinson, and within probably 3 or 4 rows there was a picture of me, because I was indexing his image in the show. It says Corey Hutchinson is a recent guest on Life's Little Lessons, hosted by Kevin A Dunlap. So that is the power of making sure that you have that description and the alt text on your images used, because again, this is all SEO. Now, another thing that we talked about already is that your page speed, the load time, that's also going to be very important. So let's go ahead and check out speeds. So go to pagespeed.web.dev, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in there as well. And just go ahead and go there. And now you go ahead and enter your URL of your main page. So I'm going to go and just put in mine. And I looked at this earlier today, but this is something that you may also, especially if you're a little bit more tech savvy on building websites, this is going to tell you what how does your website appear or work on mobile devices as well as desktop devices. Now they are going to load different values, and this is going to take a moment. So while that is coming up, the 4 things that you're going to be seeing some gauges on is going to be on performance, on accessibility, on best practices, as well as SEO. So on my website for the desktop, the performance is at an 88, which is actually considered quite good in many cases, even though it's still a yellow there. Those are some of the other metrics. So if I look at let's say SEO, links do not have a descriptive text. So now that tells me 6 links I need to go and take a look at. Let me see, coaching, online courses. Okay. So these look like blogs. Who are, that's a different, these are different pages on the website. So that, to me, I need to go there and take a look at that. If I go to mobile, it's going to actually show 92 for the SEO, but it was much slower. It's a 78 as far as that's accessibility. It's a 37 for performance. So I now know I need to go into different aspects of my pet website to make it load quicker. The thing is, by having this performance, that's going to be how fast your website loads. So like we asked earlier, how long is somebody's going to be on your website before they go away? There's a good chance I could be losing people because it's loading too slowly on the cell phone. So that is definitely another site that you want to be with. You want to try to have at least a 60% on performance. Now, if you're on WordPress, there are things on there where, let me go back to the WordPress site. There are going to be different themes. So whenever you start working with a WordPress site, you're going to have to look at different themes. Themes are found under appearance, and the very first choice is going to be themes. Now, all websites are going to have some kind of theme. If you're just starting with WordPress, you're probably going to be seeing like WordPress or 2023 or 2022 will be the theme that you can choose. I actually use one that's called Ocean WP. In Ocean WP, I kind of like it. It's got some extra features. It's also one of the faster performing themes. And here's the reason why. So again, I'm going to go back to my website again. And here's like one of the cool little features, because whenever you're building a website, it's usually a lot of time it's going to be the small details that help to stand out. So if I scroll down, this is one of the Ocean WP's things that I can do. Do you see how this transition is like a little wave, like a wave out at sea? That is one of the features that you can only use on the Ocean WP. That's not going to be found on other themes. So whenever you're looking at themes, you want to make sure that you're picking one that's going to perform fast. Now let me see if I can find the article that I was looking at earlier today. Yes, blog, page speed. So let's just go to Google, our trusty source, and I'll do another one. What are the fastest WordPress themes 2023? And free. It's course free. Okay. This is where it says sponsored. Those are paid ads. And that's another way that you can do your SEO is with paid ads. And here are the, according to generative AI, these are the fastest themes that are out there. Astra's been one of the fastest themes for several years. The other one is Ocean WP, which is one of the reasons I'm using it. And then another one, the third one is called Generate Press, which I don't see it here anymore. Another one that I did like and I used for a few years was one that's called Sydney. And Hestia is also good. So whenever you pick a theme, go ahead and download it to your WordPress site, and then you can choose it. Now, to help eliminate slowing down your website, I would strongly suggest you only have one, maybe a second theme downloaded, only one of them is going to be active. The more themes that you have, the slower that it actually could be, that it could cause your website, as well as the more possibility that you could get your website hacked. So I would say pick a theme that you would like, and I would say most likely pick one of these here. And if you want to take a screenshot of that, I will keep that up for a few seconds. Now, if you're using WordPress, another thing that you can do is whenever you upload an image, there is another plugin that you can use. It's called the one that I use is called Smush. And what Smush does, and let's go ahead and go down. These are in alphabetical order. So what Smush does is that it is going to reduce the file size of your images. So if you're going to be having a lot of images on your website, then Smush it should be something that you would want to consider, or one of the other photo size enhancement plugins. Now, normally what's going to happen is when you upload your image to your media files, that oftentimes it will automatically go ahead and do that, or go ahead and automatically resize it. Again, that's just for your page performance. Okay. And now, this is not an SEO thing that I'm about to share with you, but this is something that I'm going to suggest that you do to keep yourself out of jail whenever you are building a website. Is that whenever you have images on your website, you cannot just download any image off of Google, especially if you're going to be selling something that is using that image. That's going to be what's called a copyright infringement. Now, the best way to get around the image issue, number one, is to go take the photo yourself. That's the easiest thing to do, is just to go and take the photo yourself. If you don't have the luxury of doing that, I'm going to give you the name of 3. I know there's 4. I can't remember the 4th one, but 3 websites where you can have royalty-free images. Now, royalty-free image basically just means it's an image that you can use. You can use for business, you can use for whatever you want, but you do not have to give credit to the photographer. The one that I use the most is one that's called Unsplash. And I'll put that in the chat or in the notes. Royalty-free images. One is called Unsplash. I use a lot of images in my business. Every time I create a new course. Okay, thank you. Anytime I have a new course, I do a slideshow or something like that, most of the time I'm getting my images off of here. Because I've downloaded probably over several thousand images, I actually became a contributor as well. So I'm going to go and show you my stats. This is unsplash.com/@ Kevin A Dunlap stats. You will see in the lower left-hand corner here, I've got 190 photos. Now, I did a cross-country trip in 2021. I was on the road for 54 days. So I took a lot of pictures. So right now, you can see in the last 30 days, 164,000 people have viewed my photos. 988 have downloaded them. If I go from 30 days to all time, and I remember I just started in March of 2022, I've got 3 million views and 15,000 downloads. Now, I don't get a penny from this. I'm just waiting for the day that somebody's going to sell me a course and they're using one of my images on the course. Like, hey, I took that photo. And y'all know that I'm from Vegas, or lived in Vegas for so many years. If I go by the number of downloads, the number 1 downloaded image is a picture of coins. So I've got 1,662 downloads. So somebody's using that for whatever reason. The 3rd and 4th one, that's the Las Vegas Strip with no cars and no people, and the Las Vegas sign with no people. Now, people would say, how did you get that? Well, there's this thing called COVID-19, and this is 2 months after the whole world shut down. It's when I went to the Strip and took these pictures. So that was an opportunity that was knocking there. But anyway, I digress. Now, with Unsplash, you can do basically anything. Let's do florist again, since that was the example that we used in Google. If you're creating, so you will see there's Unsplash and there's Unsplash Plus. Some of these are the ones you have to purchase, but then these are the other images that you can use as well. So and it just keeps going on and on and on. It just keeps on going. The second imagery free website is one that's called Pexels. Away, I'm going to see. And the exact same thing is true here. You see that I am not joined in. I did not join this website. I don't have to be a member to get access to images. And again, here are a whole bunch more images. The likelihood that an image will be on Pexels and Unsplash is usually going to be unlikely, because a photographer is not going to go and set up two different accounts. The third one that I would recommend is one that's called Pixabay. Okay, let me put that in the notes. Again, you can go ahead and add that. Now, one of the things, if you're talking about doing a blog, one of the things I would strongly recommend, it's not a requirement, it's a highly recommend, is going through a website called Canva. I'm assuming everybody's somewhat familiar with Canva. So if I were to go in here and I was going to write a blog on florists, and I know that my blog is, I probably got rid of it again, right? Should just keep opening more tabs. To maintain consistency, whenever you're writing a blog, it is always good to have the images are all the same size. Because if they're not, it's going, yes, I've been using Canva since 1 year. is these are these you would want to make sure that these are all the one size. So for an example, if I had this exploring the creative power of generative AI and it's in this format here, that rectangular format there, and then I download this, I downloaded that picture, you will see then that's going to be a vertical image. So it's going to knock your stuff off. Now, the thing I would recommend as far as the blogging is concerned is to go to Canva. If you have an account, go ahead and create your account. It's free to create one. Is go here where it says create a design, and then use what's called a presentation 16:9. Okay, the 16:9, which is the horizontal the rectangle here, is exactly the same dimensions of your cell phone when it's in landscape mode. The exact same dimensions as your laptop. Is the exact same dimensions, basically as everything that you see online. So I would suggest that you use that. And then let's say I did. And with some forethought, I already know that if I get a vertical image and I need to convert it to a horizontal, that means I'm going to be heavily zooming in. So I tend to stay away from vertical images. I will go and say with this one here, and then actually I'm just going to do it on Unsplash because that's what I do most of my stuff. Go to Unsplash. I don't want to use Unsplash Plus. Okay, let's just go with that one there. Say that is going to be the perfect image I want to do. I hit the download button. Hit the download. Did it download? There it is. So I'm going to get that, put it on my background right there, and then maybe there it is there. Go to Canva, get the image, bring it back over, and then I'm zooming in until all the white space is done. So now that could be my image. I can hit the share button, download. It defaults as PDF. I'm going to choose JPG or PNG, depending which one you want. I would recommend JPEG because you're going to be reducing the file size anyway, and PNG it's going to be a larger file size. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see my background. Now, untitled design, I'm going to move that to the background. There it is. Go to the original. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to come here and rename this Florist. Hit the enter button. And if I'm in my media files, where's media right there? Media files. I can now move that over. And once it loads, the alt text is how a blind person sees the photo. So a few flowers on a wooden table for a florist. As you can see, I'm just now using the keyword I'm probably going to be known for. Control A, Control C. Description makes it the same thing. Go to compression, go to high, and then you will notice there is no save button. There is no save button. So I can go ahead and hit the next arrow and then come back and you see the content is there. So once you put it in there, it is saved. And now I can use that in my blog. So if I were to go back to my posts, as in this just as an example, if I go to exploring the creative AI, so I'm going to go to edit classic editor. I'm going to go down. I'm going to take that robot guy out. I moved down too quickly. So it's that. Bam. Bam. Slide up. Hit update. Okay, once that little thing stops spinning, I know that's been updated. There it is. Hit reload. And you now see that the flower is there. So that's how quickly, that's how easy that is to do. So I'm going to change it back so I don't forget. Okay. We already talked about Yoast SEO. We talked about keyword. Are there any questions so far? Okay. So we've talked about the slugs. We talked about the meta descriptions, the keywords from Yoast, keywords everywhere we've talked about. So there is another thing that that may help you as well. Does anybody here, out of the three of you that are still here, how many of you guys have either a Google My Business page, or it's now called a Google Business Profile? Say yes if you have a GBP or a GMP or a GMB. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have one, Mika?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Now, if you're a local business, now I'm going to strongly suggest that you do that as well. But there is something else I did want to cover. It is something known as a site map. So a site map is something that you can create. You have to have a Google account to create this. But a site map is is basically the structure of your website seeing from a computer's perspective. It's like, say, a table of contents for a book. So you're going to be needing to go into this thing here. It's called your Google Search Central. Once you have your Google account and you've signed in, your little icon will come up there, or at least your first and last initials. To get your site map and to actually upload it to Google, is that you want to go up here. And this, I'm assuming this is true for both regular websites as well as WordPress websites, is go to wp.sitemap.xml. So that's the sitemap for my website. To submit your sitemap, all you have to do is come up here and type or highlight the entire URL, hit Control-C for copy, and then you can go to, where's it at? Google Search Console. And let me see here. I have to be in my other account. Go and submit a sitemap, and then you're just going to follow it's usually it's only like one step involved. Okay, I actually forgot how to do this, even though I just did it an hour ago, 2 hours ago. Okay, so once you create your Google account, then you should be able to get to one place where you actually just you submit your sitemap there. Again, I'm in the wrong account again. Let me see here. Unless you remember how to do this, Miko.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. Just say what generative AI. Google Search Console. Make sure I'm in the right account. Okay, so I have an error here. Verify later. And then you should be able to just to submit your sitemap. Make sure you're signed in with the right Google account. They may still think I'm in this account instead of this account. So let me. And that's the problem when we have more than one Google account.
Yep.
Okay. So once you're in it with the right account, then you go down here where it says sitemaps. And then if yours does not exist, you just hit Control V and hit submit. And that's basically all there is to it. Now, I told you about the Google spiders. You can see I submitted this earlier today, but we talked about the Google spiders. This is basically going to show when it was submitted, and this was the last time my sitemap was read. And they discovered 191 pages. That to me seems a little excessive. The last time before that, it was October 14, 2023. So Google crawled my website 3 days ago. But this is going to be critical whenever when you have your what does it do? It is a one-time setup, Corey, and it basically is telling Google how is your website structured. So for me, as an example, that's not what I need to go. For me, as an example, if I go to my website, you will see that I've got each of these menu items is its own web page. Training has that web page, has that one, and then that has a sub page. So it's giving you the whole structure, the whole web of your business. So that way, when it comes out and starts searching, it can more easily navigate your website. And that's where you definitely want to be checking for your bad links by having that extension right there, the check my links extension. And let me see. So we've covered the keywords, we've covered site maps. Does anybody have any questions at this point? To set one up, Corey, once you have your website up and running, then you just go to that. You just go to your website / WP. That's for WordPress. I believe you can also do it without the WP. XML for like a spreadsheet. Yeah, same thing. You don't have to be WordPress. Then you just copy paste that over, Control C, and load it up. I remember it was pretty simple. I just had to remember how to do it, and then also be in the right account. So let's go to that sitemap. So this is where I could be sort of looking at different reports on indexing and such. If you've got a WordPress site, another plugin that I'm going to recommend is this one here. Let me see, plugins. Actually, that's the wrong one. It doesn't really matter. Is this one called Google Site Kit? Site Kit. Now, once you set this up, this is going to be analytics on how many people are coming to your page. Are they coming from mobile? Are they coming from desktop? And you'll get your analytics. Now, whenever you're doing this, I don't know how tech savvy you are, and this is kind of beyond this thing here. You want to make sure that your website is set up for GA4. Okay? Your website for GA4. This is also known as Google Analytics. They just updated the to GA4 within the last couple of months. GA3 is not as effective. That's however all the sites were done. So this is something else that you definitely want to take a look at as well, is setting up for GA4. And as you can see, like I said, you can get all kinds of data. You can see like which pages are performing the best. Like my main website, 227 impressions. The output performance of 184. So that's where you get a lot more data. You look at your traffic, your content, your speed. Let me go back to speed again. And this should also let us know basically where you may have some errors. This is going to take a moment. Okay. And I guess the other thing is making sure that you are going by my notes here, that you check things. See right there, it's showing that it's taking 4.7 seconds to load on in the lab, in the field, unavailable. Okay, whatever. So that means I need to go and probably lower some file size of some of my pictures. I don't think I have a video on the front page, but my front page is fairly long. If I were to go to go back to home. I mean, this one is fairly long, so it's got a lot of images that has to load. Plus, obviously this carousel. I bet if I turned off this carousel, it probably would actually improve my speed on my website. So that's that. And was there any other? Let me think. Is there any other plugins that I would recommend? I do recommend getting Classic Editor as well as another plugin. Now, whichever if you're going to be using WordPress and you're going to be needing the platform to build it on, I like Elementor. So that's pretty easy to use. It's just like most other drag and drops, but it also has other add-ons as well that you can look for and find. Let me see. Here is, if you use an Ocean WP as your theme, Ocean Social Sharing and Ocean Extra could be two additional themes that are just for the Ocean just for that Ocean theme. If you're going to be inserting video onto your website, I would highly recommend this one called Presto Player. And the reason being is Presto Player, to my recollection, does not show the next video after you have finished one video. Like, so let's just go to all available courses. And because what's happening here is instead of being, I'm going to pick any course, doesn't really matter. Taglines, it's fine. So there is I do have a video on all of my stuff. This one's a minute and 18 seconds. I'm not going to play the audio. As you can see, there's not showed like 9 more videos to distract people going to another video. That is what Presto Player does. And basically all it does is you're embedding the video, the YouTube link to your website. And the last one that I would highly recommend as well is this one here. This is my favorite one. It's called Pretty Links. Now, for those of you that like to have control over your website or over your business, and you're using WordPress, this is one I would highly recommend as well. What Pretty Links does is that it allows you, I can go ahead and just, I'll go ahead and find it. There's Presto Player. Pretty Links is going to be further up. Pretty Links does, it gives you redirects. So here it is right there on the left-hand side. I'm just going to click on it. And what this does is, as you can probably see, I have 74 redirects. And essentially what that does is, let's say if somebody wanted to, let's say, buy the course, the Business Kickstarter Workshop at $197. So I've got that as a link. So I just go here and hit edit. And there's only 4 things that you're doing. Number one, you're going to give it a title that you would recognize. You make it a redirection and make it permanent. You give the website that it's actually going to be going to, and then you give the code that you wanted to have. So if you were to go right now to the Business Kickstarter Workshop, 197, let me go to Optimal Performance Academy, BKW 197. If I click on that, you will see that it's not on my webpage, it's redirecting them actually to a checkout form. So I love using these things is because I can keep everything on my website. It says like, hey, go to keep.app or /checkout /tar516 /BKW197. I would rather have those few characters after that. So out of all of my 19 courses that I currently have, let's just talk about the online program creator. So if I go to my website, go to OPC, that's what I named it. And you will see that will actually redirect that person to Optimum Performance Academy /online classes /online program creator. That is a long URL. But by having it on my website, by having it that way, it makes a whole lot easier. So once you put in what that code is, you can leave yourself a note or not. That's up to you. And then you just hit update, and then you are done. That's not necessarily SEO, but you did notice that when we were looking at the Google Search Console, they were also counting how many redirects that I have. So, because whenever a website or a spider goes to that redirect, it's going to my checkout form or to another site, or it's going to another place on my website. I'm going to assume it does help with your SEO, because especially if it's a cross link to somewhere else on your website. So that's basically all that I have for this training. Are there any questions from anybody? I don't know if Facebook Land is able to leave questions or not. If they did, I'll come back and check them. Any questions from Shurza, Corey, or Miko? Yes, no, maybe?
No
Now, I
questions
am going to
from
remind
me.
you guys, what's that?
No questions for me. All sounds good.
Now, did I get anything wrong? Did you build websites?
Oh, right. No, nothing wrong. There are another thing to look into maybe are accessibility scanners, because the more
Okay.
accessible your website is, the better for SEO also, because more people can use it.
Okay. Now that you said that about accessibility, another thing that I'm going to recommend, and I don't need that one anymore. The other thing that I'm going to be recommending is, let me see if I can find it, the plugin. Now, if you don't have a WordPress site, then you're going to have to do your own research on this. And the thing is, these things may become problematic in the very near future. And it's going to be control. Let me just go to my website first. It's making sure that it's ADA compliance. So I want to make sure that your website is accessible to people who are blind, deaf, and what have you. So that is another one that you want to lose. Now, for those of you that, for everybody that said that they enjoyed this, I would really appreciate if you would leave us a 5-star review on Google. If you go to optimumperformanceacademy.org/review or reviews, it doesn't matter if it's Sting or Pro, they both go to the same place, and I will show you what that does. It makes it very, very, very easy to leave a review. So Optimal Performance Academy or review. And this is going to go to our Google My Business page or Google Business profile, and then a pop-up should pop up to be able to leave a review. It's really, really simple. And again, if you're going to be using pretty links, I would suggest you once you create your profile, your Google Business profile, and you get it approved by Google, because it's going to take 1 or 2 weeks for it to get approved, is to go ahead and do that as well, and be asking for reviews. That's again going to help again with organic as well as SEO traffic for you, because it shows you as being more relevant. And even if you have an online business like I do, I still have I use my Raleigh address, even though my business is a Nevada business. Just because this, so I have a registered agent in Reno, Nevada. That is actually where my business address is. So it doesn't matter if you're online or if you're brick and mortar. Okay, that's all that I have. I believe I can probably start. There's the thing there. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I'm also going to go ahead and stop the recording in case anybody wants to ask any questions.